Watch this video very carefully, as it will be one of the most important videos you have or will ever watch. Why do I say this? This is because our freedom is on the line. It is now at the very edge of its total ruin. Nobody would have ever imagined that a book written a very long time ago would represent a spitting image of our future. Right now, as you watch this video, everything you do online is being tracked. Your location, your purchases, your conversations, all of it is being collected by the government, who claim it is for your own safety. Almost 80 years ago, a writer named George Orwell wrote a book called 1984 that predicted the most accurate image of this kind of world. A world where something watches everything you do, where the government controls what you think, where privacy, as you know it, is not private anymore. Today, I'm gonna show you how Orwell's warnings have come true in ways that will truly surprise you. Let me take you inside Orwell's absolute nightmare vision. In 1984, the world is divided into 3 superstates that are constantly at war. But here's the twist. They are not really trying to win these wars. The wars exist to keep people poor, scared, and dependent on their government. Then there's the main character, Winston Smith, who works for something called the Ministry of Truth. His job, to rewrite history. If the government says chocolate rations went up when they actually went down, Winston has to go back and change all the old newspapers to match the lie. Over time, people forget what really happened because all the evidence has been erased. This was called controlling the past to control the future. Think about it. If you can make people forget what really happened, you can make them believe anything. And once they believe your made-up version of reality, you can fully control them. The government in 1984 uses something called doublethink, the ability to believe 2 contradictory things at the same time, like believing the government loves you while it literally tortures you, or believing that war is peace. This would sound crazy and impossible to you now, but we see this everywhere today. The wildest part of Orwell's world is the telescreens, devices that watch and listen to citizens 24 hours a day. You cannot turn them off. They are in every room, watching your every move while listening to every word you say. The scariest part is that the people in 1984 eventually learn to love their surveillance. They believe it keeps them safe. Now, fast forward to today. Remember those telescreens from 1984? Well, it turns out you are carrying one in your pocket right now. Yes, you. Your phone has cameras that can see you, microphones that can hear you, and GPS that tracks everywhere you go. And unlike the telescreens in 1984, you paid for this device. You carry it everywhere, willingly. Hold on, it gets worse. Have you ever noticed ads popping up for things you only talked about but never searched for? Your phone is listening to your conversations. Companies claim they are not spying on you, but the reality suggests otherwise. And it is not just your phone. Smart TVs, smart speakers, fitness trackers, even your automated cars, they are all collecting data about you. Social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram use this data to create psychological profiles of who you are. They know when you are sad, when you are angry, and sorry to say, when you are vulnerable too. Then they feed you content designed to keep you scrolling, keep you addicted, and keep you engaged. But here's where this all gets really scary. In the United Kingdom, they just passed something called the Online Safety Act. Sounds good, right? Who does not want to be safe online? But to access certain websites, you now have to scan your government ID and your face. Reddit already requires this for some content. You have to turn your head, blink, move your face in real time while a camera watches you. All of this data gets stored. They say it is to protect children. Just like in 1984, surveillance always comes disguised as protection. What I am about to mention now is happening right now in China. It is called the social credit system. So how does it work? Every person gets a score based on their behavior. Criticize the government online, your score goes down. But if you praise the government on social media or report your neighbors for suspicious activity, your score goes up. If your score gets too low, you cannot buy train tickets. You cannot get loans. Some people have even had their pets taken away. One student was denied admission to a university because his father had a low social credit score. Think this could never happen in real life? Think again. We already have credit scores that determine where you can live and what you can buy. Companies like Uber and Airbnb can ban you for having the wrong opinions. PayPal can freeze your account if they do not like your policies. During the pandemic, something interesting happened. While small businesses were forced to close and regular people lost their jobs, the world's richest people got even richer. Before 2020, billionaires owned about 2% of the global wealth. Just 1 year later, that number jumped to 3.5%. In 1 year, the richest people in the world gained 1.5% more of everything. That might not sound like much, but we are talking about trillions of dollars. While this was happening, an organization called the World Economic Forum announced something called the Great Reset. Their slogan, "You'll own nothing and be happy." These are not elected officials, but they create policies that governments around the world follow. They bring together billionaires, politicians, and CEOs to decide how the rest of us should live. They talk about making the world greener, but their environmental policies have forced farmers across Europe out of business. When these farmers protested, their governments fired live rounds at them, while the media just called them crazy right-wingers. Meanwhile, the same rules never applied to airline companies or other major polluters. It is almost like the environmental agenda is not really about the environment. Let's talk about something that should terrify you and me: central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Right now, when you have cash in your wallet, it is yours. You can spend it anywhere, anytime, and on anything. The government cannot stop you or track every purchase. But with CBDCs, your money exists only as digital code controlled by the central bank. Every purchase you make is tracked. Every transaction is recorded. And with the push of a button, they can freeze your account or prevent you from buying certain things. Do not like the government's latest policy? Sorry, your money is frozen until you comply. This is so real. Several countries are already testing these systems. Combined with facial recognition cameras everywhere, social credit scores, and mandatory ID verification for internet access, we are building a digital prison. The bars are invisible, but they are very real. Your phone knows where you are every second. Cameras with facial recognition watch you walk down the street. Your purchases are tracked and analyzed. Your conversations are recorded and processed by AI. It is really insane how they do not need to force you. You volunteer for your own surveillance. Social media apps are designed to be addictive. While you are scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, you are becoming less able to focus, less able to think critically, and more dependent on external validation. This in turn creates what psychologists call learned helplessness. You feel like the world is too complex, so you retreat into your phone, into basically virtual everything. This system needs you weak, distracted, and highly dependent. A strong, independent, and critically thinking population is the greatest threat to authoritarian control. Just when you think you have heard it all, let me tell you about something that will blow your mind. Your DNA, the most personal, private information you have, is probably already in a government database. If any of your relatives have ever used a DNA testing service like 23andMe or Ancestry DNA, then unfortunately, you are in the system too. Police can use family DNA to track down anyone they want. They use this technique to catch the Golden State Killer. And while catching serial killers sounds good, think about what else they can do with this power. This information can also be shared with insurance companies. Imagine being denied health insurance because your DNA shows you might develop a genetic condition even if you never actually get sick. Only 2% of the population needs to submit their DNA for authorities to identify 99% of everyone else. So what can we do? How do you fight back against a system this massive and coordinated? First, recognize that this is not happening by accident. This is a deliberate, coordinated effort to control every aspect of human life. Second, take control of your attention. Read books more often instead of scrolling through feeds. Have real conversations with real people instead of living through a screen. Third, learn skills that make you independent. Grow your own food if you can. Learn to fix things instead of buying new ones. Build real relationships in your community. Most importantly, never stop questioning. Never accept it is for your safety as a reason to give up your freedom. Never believe that you have to choose between security and liberty. The future is not written yet. We still have time to choose a different path, but only if we act now, before the digital cage closes completely around us.